The Stars and Stripes show is brought to you by the U.S. Embassy.
Well, it's Gabs FM, powered to engage your world, and welcome to the Stars and Stripes radio show, proudly brought to you by the U.S. Embassy in partnership with Gabs FM. And of course, today's show theme is 16 Days of Activism Against Gender-Based Violence, which is an international campaign that takes place annually from the 25th of November, the International Day for Elimination of Violence Against Women, to December the 10th. And of course, this is International Human Rights Day. The campaign aims to raise awareness about gender-based violence and advocate for its eradication. The importance of this campaign cannot be understated. And of course, unfortunately, it is not our proudest moments, but you and I have discussed how Botswana's rape capital. And it's nothing to be proud of. So we're going to have this conversation until we have this conversation, until we have it again.
Keep having the conversation.
We need to keep having it again. And if you know somebody who's struggling with issues related to gender-based violence, the best thing that you can do is try and report the case, or at least engage in some form of social worker or intervention strategy, because there's no point in leaving it or turning a blind eye.
Definitely. And Swift, I'm quite excited about the conversation that we're having today, because in studio for our Meet America policy discussion segment, we are very proud to be able to talk to Miss Rita Kamazima, who is from the U.S. Embassy, who is also, she's from the U.S. Embassy. And you know what, let's just welcome her to the show. Hi, Rita.
Hi, Samantha. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sweet, for having me.
Did we say your surname properly?
Repeat again.
Kamazima.
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
We're just making sure we said it properly, because there's nothing worse than ruining somebody's surname. First of all, how are you doing? How
was your morning?
Or
your week?
It feels like it's been a full day already. The week has been very busy. It's a very busy time now. As we were chatting earlier, it's the end of the year. Everything, trying to push everything, get everything through before the end of the year. So it's been a busy but exciting morning. It's Friday, so trying to keep positive vibes.
Fantastic. Let me tell you a little secret. Everybody from the U.S. Embassy comes here on a Friday, because after that we all knock off. Okay? So just letting you know, we all just say, okay, it's a Friday. Anyway, moving swiftly along, pun intended. Thank you so much for being part. And of course, at the U.S. Embassy, you serve under the Botswana's President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief, otherwise known as PEPFAR Coordination Office. And of course, we do know, those that don't know, PEPFAR's 20 years of existence this year. That's a major, major deal. Just let us know about your role and, of course, your mandate at the U.S. Embassy, so that we can understand.
Thank you. Again, thank you so much. I'm very excited to be here today and talk about this very important topic, as you're saying we need to keep talking about this and to make sure we are preventing GBV, gender-based violence. So, as you mentioned, my name is Rita Kamazima. I am with the U.S. Embassy. I recently joined the PEPFAR Coordination Office in Botswana as the Senior Advisor for Program Management. So I support the wonderful PEPFAR team, which includes wonderful staff from the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, also known as CDC, the United States Agency for International Development, also known as USAID, and PISCO, to partner with the government of Botswana, our multilateral partners, the civil society and private sector, to advance the HIV/AIDS related programming in Botswana.
Wow, that's absolutely amazing. And I must say, what we've done together as a bilateral combination is absolutely amazing. Today Botswana is totally different space, from what it was 20 years ago. And we can only thank the U.S. government and, of course, the BW government. If you've just joined us, welcome to the show. And remember, the objective of the show is to share the bilateral relationship between the U.S. government and the BW government.
Speaking of which, Rita, a quick question for you. Let's look at what PEPFAR has done in order to support initiatives that are aimed at GBV awareness and prevention.
Yes. So before I share a bit more about what PEPFAR has done, I think let's first paint the picture and talk about the numbers. So according to the 2018 Botswana National Relationship Study, we know that 37% of women and 21% of men have experienced some form of gender-based violence in their lifetime.
Those are hectic numbers.
Including intimate partner violence. And that, just to kind of like 37%, what does that mean? That means more than 1 in 3 women have experienced violence, and more than 1 in 5 men have experienced gender-based violence. And besides the physical and emotional trauma associated with gender-based violence, as we know, it also puts victims at increased risk for sexually transmitted diseases or infections, including HIV. So to kind of answer your question, as you said, what does PEPFAR do? PEPFAR works closely with the government of Botswana, National Gender-Based Violence Prevention Policies and Strategy. And we do so through the Gender Affairs Department and the Department of Social Protection to respond to and to support survivors of gender-based violence. We support provision of treatment for victims' injuries, including providing also HIV testing, STI screening and treatment, and post-exposure prophylaxis, or PEP. So PEP is given to prevent contracting HIV for those who reach facilities within 72 hours post the event. We also support training of social workers to identify cases of violence against children, and we partner with communities to educate, to support them, and to address the harmful gender and cultural norms that fuel GBV. So I don't want to go too much into detail, but kind of in summary, that's what we do in partnership with the government of Botswana and the communities.
Absolutely. It goes to show the power of collaboration and, of course, shared health, shared prosperity. Look, can you tell us a little bit more about, PEPFAR, how the PEPFAR supported social media campaign that you have recently launched in partnership with Eric Animations? Walk us through what that's about and what are you trying to achieve between that particular collaborative partnership?
Yes. Well, I know we are going to have Eric later on, so I don't want to steal the thunder and go too much into detail about the episode and the campaign. But so we know that social media and technology have immense reach through various platforms, including YouTube and Facebook, Instagram and X, or as some of us kind of still call it Twitter. Yes, but yes, and so much more. Social media is so many more platforms. So we wanted to create a campaign to tell locally inspired stories on GBV issues on social media because of its accessibility, and we know that Eric Animation was our guy. When you think about Eric Animation, he is more than just a cartoonist. He's an artist, a storyteller, and he engages with his audience, so he's more than 80,000 followers. He engages with them through voice videos and messaging and delivering those through social commentary in both Setswana and English. So we definitely wanted to work with him and to present those stories. I would say it is a partnership made in heaven because we have worked with him to develop 9 engaging episodes that speak to the cultural norms that influence gender-based violence in today's society. The intended audience is anyone with a device or a smaartphone, young or old, in all communities around Botswana. So we know it's easy to talk about this. It's not easy. It's not easy to talk about these issues because they're cultural, they're social, they're really deep, and so we worked with him to bring together these stories in a way that will be understandable for different audiences, and to think about who we can reach to make a difference. This campaign, again, is a larger part of the U.S. Embassy efforts to bring awareness to the importance of GBV. And we hope that the campaign will encourage honest dialogue and and take action amongst viewers for the needed change in the communities. I'll take a pause there. That was a lot. So let me take a pause.
Well, it's Gabs FM, powered to engage your world. And if you've just joined us, welcome to the show. And today's show theme is the 16 days against the gender-based violence. As we walk the talk, it's an international campaign designed to create a lot more awareness. Let me tell you something. Whether we like it or not, we need healthier homes. And healthier homes create a healthier leadership. They create a healthier community. They create a healthier Botswana. So you and I have to do what we can in order to address these issues. Look, Rita, let me give you this opportunity to share your parting statement.
I'll just say, well, first, remind people to watch the episodes as they roll out.
Absolutely.
The first episode was called My Father's Hands, and it followed a young man confronting the cycle of violence in his own life. I'm sure Eric will also share more about this creative process and how he developed the message. But just for all, let's have those honest conversations. Let's try to break the cycle of violence. Some have experienced it from childhood. It goes back to generations.
Yeah.
However, we want a better future for ourselves, for our children, and for the next generations. So let's have those conversations. If you know somebody or you're experiencing something, talk about it, reach out, and as a community come together to address this issue for healthier living for everybody and a better future.
I love it. Well, moving swiftly along, pun intended, your time across the nation is 12:25. On the other side of this, we'll be crossing over into a segment called the Partner Spotlight, where we'll be speaking to the man himself. He goes by the name Eric Chibuya. And of course, we'll be reaching him online, and we're talking about 16 days campaign against gender-based violence. The question that I have for you is, what have you been doing to address 16 days of activism against gender-based violence? What are we doing? Are we teaching our young ones? Are we, doing something in line with it? And I sincerely hope both the private sector and the public sector are doing something about this, Sam.
I love that question because the numbers and statistics that Rita speaks of
Scary.
are just
Scary.
incredible.
Scary.
1 in 3 women, 1 in 5 men, and those are the ones that have actually spoken and reported.
So
Those are just the ones who've reported.
So the characteristics of Botswana is that it's underreported statistics because, these are things that we need to address.
Yeah.
But anyway, moving swiftly along, pun intended, on the other side of this, we're going to continue the conversation. It's Gabs FM, power to engage your world. Pure hip hop. Did you know that this particular song is a Grammy Award winning song by rapper actress Queen Latifah from her 1993 album Black Rain? And the single was released on the 6th of January 1994. Spoke out against the disrespect of women in society, addressing issues of street harassment, domestic violence, and of course slurs against women in the hip hop culture.
The power of music, not just music, the power of using art in order to address social ills. And I'm absolutely loving this next conversation because we're talking to somebody who uses their creativity in order to address social ills. On the line, we're talking to Eric Chibuya, who is an animator, and we're talking about the partnership that he has with PEPFAR and what that's looking like. Hi, Eric. How are you doing?
How are you, Samantha and Swift? I'm doing very well.
We are absolutely great. We're very excited to speak to you because you are in a very interesting space. Animation, Eric. Animation. For Motswana Kolapeng, they call it Dipopai in short. Just, tell us what you do. What do you do as an animator? What does that look like? It sounds very exciting.
Hey, animation is a very, very fun thing, but also cumbersome to make.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to draw pictures and then make those pictures move, make those pictures talk. So you are like giving life to drawings. So it's a very...
Oh, come on. Let me see what I can do to get the man of the hour back. Just hold that line and, of course, do not change that. It's Gabs FM, power to engage your world. Would like to sincerely apologize for the technical issues and the technical glitches. We've got Eric back on the line. And of course, he's an animator using his creative ability to address social ills in underprivileged communities or around the Republic of Botswana. The importance of edutainment cannot be understated. And of course, Eric, the floor is yours. You were still speaking before we lost you.
All right. First thing first, my name is Eric Chibuya, and I'm a self-taught animator. I was studying something else in the school, and I picked up animation on YouTube. And
wow, on YouTube?
Yes.
Okay.
Now I'm a school teacher, but on my free time I animate.
Oh, you're a school teacher, so you are in the education space, but of course you have got a strong passion for animation.
Correct. It was a match made in heaven, I guess.
Love it. Look, Eric, let's talk about the work that you are doing with PEPFAR in line with speaking on GBV awareness and prevention, the campaign that you guys are doing. We understand that it's a social media campaign
Yes.
and it's a great partnership. Tell us more about the messaging. Let's talk about the videos and everything that we need to know in terms of this partnership.
All right. So the U.S. Embassy, through PEPFAR, reached out to me to handle, talk about the 16 days of activism against GBV. And they wanted to partner in creating such videos. I was already in line, so coincidentally, we met perfectly.
Okay.
And the first thing they gave me were the statistics. Like 1 in 3 women, like 37% of women, have faced GBV in their lives. And 1 in 5 men also have faced GBV in their lives. So these were scary statistics. So they tasked me with creating like 9 episodes for this 16 days of activism. So I got right on the track, and I worked with Keleto Mukulwani from PEPFAR.
Okay, fantastic. Look, let's talk about the reaction, whether we like it or not. And you know what I love about what Eric is doing, Sam, is that, often enough we underestimate the impact ability of the creatives and using things like animation, especially in line with edutainment. Whether we like it or not, HIV and AIDS, they had a huge element of communication and storytelling, and edutainment allows us to educate not only the future generation, but even adults themselves. Look, let's talk about the impact of your videos and what we can expect in terms of future episodes.
Yes. So I created the first video. It was about a young man who is visiting his father. Now, this young man has not seen his father for 10 years. And so we get his past. We are shown his past, a flashback, and we see that his father subjected him to violence. Him and his mother, they were subjected to violence each and every day. But now he's visiting his father, and we don't know why. And when he finally reached his father, we learned that he the previous day, tried to hit his wife too. But he saw his face in the mirror, and it reminded him of his own father, this young man. So he went to the farm to confront his father about the violence. So he actually was trying to break away from the perpetual cycle of violence. So he broke the cycle, and everybody can. If you were abused, don't become the abuser too. So that was the first story, and it was about the abuse on women. Because 1 in 3 women is abused. So that was, I gave that story the first, the first top billing. So, as for the reaction, I think my audience loved it. They loved it. They understood what it was. But of course, because this is a societal issue,
absolutely,
I had some comments here and there, very few of them, which were like, "Oh, you are talking about abuse on women only. What about men? Men are also abused."
Yeah, absolutely.
And I agree. But that does not mean we shouldn't talk about the abuse of women. We will find space. There's still time. We have 9 episodes.
Yeah.
We are going to talk about it all, I guess.
Fantastic.
Wow. I guess comments are, at least you created an opportunity to allow for people to to be able to comment and dialogue. I think that that's very important, and that way they're going to be forced to stay tuned for the next episodes that are coming up. This sounds so excited. So Eric, let's talk about other creators. You are in the animation space, but creativity is such a broad spectrum. You've got creativity in terms of writing, you've got creativity in terms of drawing, in terms of filmmaking, in terms of music. What would you say in order to encourage other people in the creative space to be able to use their talents to, share messaging when it comes to addressing social ills? I mean, you keep repeating the statistics. 1 in 3 women, 1 in 5 men. You keep repeating them. How would you encourage your fellow creatives?
I think it's high time we rise up, especially in Facebook. We have influencers, we have what you call them, socialites. If they, content creators, if they could rise up and, tackle these issues, because we are the rape capital. I was looking at the statistics on Twitter, and they embarrassed me. The comments from, people from Switzerland, from America, they saw now, Botswana, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So I think other content creators should rise up and tackle these issues. I know these issues are kind of somber, even the story that I created, the first episode. I'm a comedian. I make funny things about that kids. But it's fun, and Botswana love that. But I was forced out of my bubble to create something very, very sad, something that you can't find humor out of. So they too should just tackle it, talk about it. You never know which heart you will soothe, because I had.
Man.
Eric.
Let me try that again. No matter what, we're going to keep on keeping on. Whether you like it or not, whether they're using also, kind of this is Africa, Samantha, maybe they don't want us to talk about this.
They don't want this conversation, but we're forcing this conversation.
Whether you like it or not, we'll call again, cut, and then we call again, and cut, and then we call again. Hello?
Hi, Eric.
Hello.
Yes, welcome back to the show.
Yeah.
Continue, sir.
I don't know if it's because I'm in the boondocks. I'm in a village called Majonadi Piti, where there is no electricity and no.
Don't worry, brother.
Roads.
Don't worry, brother. Look, I think offer us your parting statement in line with also inspiring creatives to use their talent, as Samantha rightfully said, and of course encouraging Botswana and especially Borre to say, look, gender-based violence is not a male issue, it's not a female issue, it is our issue, and let's stop hurting one another within the Republic of Botswana.
Yes, it's high time we tackle this. Creatives, everybody, parastatals, private companies, government companies come together, pool funds, and give creators the voice to voice out these issues.
Absolutely.
So they can be in the public zeitgeist. They cannot be taboos. There's still a lot to talk about. We are going to talk about consent culture. We're going to talk about, verbal abuse, all these patriarchal norms that are plaguing the today's society, toxic masculinities. There's a lot to talk about. So give creators money to do it.
Thank you, sir. Have a fantastic afternoon and congratulations. Thank you so much for the great work that you're doing.
Before you go, Eric, where do we find you? Where do we find this series of work that you put up?
Yes, absolutely. Great question.
Oh, so the Monica Eric Animations, I use it everywhere in every social media. Twitter, not Twitter, sorry. TikTok, I'm on TikTok. Facebook, I'm on Facebook. YouTube, I'm on YouTube. You can find me at Eric Animations. There's more to come.
Fantastic, brother. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Samantha, I guess this is an important conversation, and I think you and I, we need to do something. What are you and I doing? What have you done for 16 days of activism?
I do many things.
I can drop.
I do many things.
I know you've even dropped a song. What's your song? Against gender-based violence.
That one was looking at men being able to speak in safe spaces.
Which one was it?
It's called Mangwanempulele.
Look, I'm gonna play that one.
Literally looking at men speaking because they don't speak, and these are dialogues that need to take place.
Yeah, I inspired her to write that number. Just letting you know, because we all do our part somewhere, somehow. You know what I'm saying? And inspiration is part of it. But look, I'm gonna bump you a song called it's by Bob Marley. It's called No Woman No Cry. Do you know that song?
Definitely.
And that song actually is so misunderstood because people think he's actually saying no woman don't cry. And it's something that I think it's such an international anthem that we've got to all learn to appreciate and of course play our part. 16 days against gender-based violence. And let me tell you something. Just because you buy a drinks over the festive season doesn't mean you're entitled. I like what he said. He said consent culture. Majita, I'm speaking to you now. Buy a drink. So out of the goodness of your heart, just out of the goodness. But that doesn't mean ke tsa gore la nthaloganya motho motona ke motho motona.